welcome to Simply Kendrick. Today, we're doing a Southern classic. We're doing smothered pork chops. Hey, before we dive into this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification, and share this video. Let's get it, let's go. All right guys, real quick, let me introduce you to our ingredients. I'm going with a 1/2 inch of pork chops, bone in, have 2 eggs, have a teaspoon of salt, have a cup of all-purpose flour, I have a tablespoon of cornstarch, which we will be making a slurry out of. I have a teaspoon of black pepper. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper for heat. I have 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, I have 1 onion, I have my buttermilk, and I have my chicken broth. All right, all the ingredients that we'll be using today, let's go. All right guys, just gonna season our pork chops. Now with our seasoning, we're gonna season half with the pork chops, and then we're gonna other half with the flour. You always wanna season both. All right guys, we got our 2 eggs that we beat together. We're gonna add a cup of buttermilk. And then we're gonna add our pork chops in this buttermilk egg mixture. We're gonna refrigerate this for about an hour and come back, batter our pork chops up, and it'll be time to fry. All right guys, I added the remaining of our flour, remaining of our seasoning to our flour, and I did take about 2 tablespoons out for our gravy. Now let's start on our pork chops, battering up our pork chops. And get it nice and coated all over. Leave no pork chop untouched. Sit on a baking sheet. Repeat the process. Then we'll get ready for our flour grease. All right guys, at this time I'm gonna go ahead. All right guys, after 2 minutes on each side, we're gonna take those pork chops out and start on our next batch. Again, we're only going for about 2 minutes, roughly 2.5 minutes on each side, rotating, making sure they're not sticking to the bottom. And then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna start on our gravy. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and remove our pork chops, sit it on our resting rack. And I'm only gonna use about a 1/4 cup of this oil, that much. And then we'll start on our gravy. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and add our seasoned flour. Then we're just gonna stir. Guys, our 2.5 tablespoons of flour, about ready for our broth. Just continue to stir. Continue to stir. We're just gonna continue to allow this to stir, reduce down, and we're gonna have ourselves some nice brown gravy. All right guys, at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and add our salt, add our pepper, then we're gonna go ahead and add our slurry. Then gonna just continue to stir, let this build up, and then we will add our onions and pork chops. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and add some of our onions in. Incorporate our onions. I mean, it's smelling good, looking amazing. Then we're gonna add our pork chops and let it cook. All right guys, we're gonna reduce the heat, allow this to simmer for about 7 minutes, and then it'll be time to plate up. All right guys, hey, time for a taste test. Even added some rice to it. That's out of sight. Let me get you guys out of here so I can eat. Hey, thank you for joining Simply Kendrick. Don't forget, spread love, cook out.